If the women here were traditional, men would suffer through having to do what they had to do. More men would anyway. If that was just how it was, men would suffer through this terrible economy and they would go, you know what, it's my duty, I gotta do it. But the women are modern. They just want you to be traditional. So they want you to do all the traditional things, but they're not traditional themselves. So you gain nothing. You gain nothing. If you go to one of these countries and you're looking for a traditional woman, guess what? You get that. Plus it's cheaper. So you can just fulfill that traditional role our grandparents did, and you can live like how our grandparents did in terms of the economy. And again, men are flexible in ways that women aren't. Men can be modern. Men can also be traditional. It depends on the environment.
In places called third world countries, the quality of life can be so much more vibrant, invigorating, filled with real relationships, laughter, joy that we don't get here in the US. For example, when I would go to Jamaica growing up, I always noticed that work wasn't as much of a priority. And then I realized that in the US, we live to work, and in other countries, they work to live. In the US, we value our luxuries. We love having things. We go to Amazon, we click, we buy. It's a ton of consumerism. It's a ton of prioritizing these material things, but we don't prioritize human connection the same way. Living in the West, it's a very I-focused society. So we are focused on ourselves, our gain, our lives, our world. And when you go to another country where it's more we-centric, it's less individualistic and more of a collective, there's just this level of laughter and joy and connection.
And I think the American dream is now turned into the American nightmare. And when you look at these other countries, if you're cultured enough, you'll see that, man, the places are beautiful. They have the same thing, if not more. The prices split in half, probably less than split in half. And you get a lot more. But it's just weird. We have these politicians in place right now who are just really turning this into a third world country. Like when you have US citizens that decide to say, you know what, this place, I'm out. And just uproot their entire life and go to another country that they have no clue about, and they're taking the biggest risk. But when you look at them a year, 2 years later, they're extremely happy. You got a serious problem here on the US soil.
We all gonna represent a people, you know what I mean? And that's one people, you know what I mean, regardless of color. So our actions do play a part in how we move, you know what I mean? Some people move different. That's cool. We can't all be the same. So that's why the dynamics has to be different. Would you choose to visit a different country? Look at the situation and say, what can we do to improve our situation, even if we could turn back the hands of time? It's the consequences behind every action. For every positive or negative action, there's a positive or negative reaction. Do y'all agree? Behind every positive or negative action, there's a positive or negative reaction. Period. So what you put out there is eventually going to come back to you. You feel me? What you do out there is eventually going to come back to you. So at the end of the day, I'm always saying, be easy. Be you. Be easy, be you. Because if you ain't gaining traction out here in the US, you're not going to gain traction nowhere else. But if you ain't going to be positive and do different things here in the US, you ain't gonna go abroad and do things positive and be a positive figure or person abroad. So at the end of the day, man, we really have to sit back and look and reevaluate ourselves. Because if we could turn back the hands of time, what would we do with that time?